Hello everyone, welcome to Writing Quest. Today's video I'm bringing you something a little different that it's a little bit something I've never really done before, and it kind of dives into the realm of current events and some politics and stuff, which I generally try to stay out of, but I felt like this particular thing that has happened is something that I wanted to bring to you guys because I think it conveys a truth. It talks about a truth that we should be using in our writing. So without further ado, let's get into it. So you've probably seen in recent days this guy Oliver Anthony. He just recently put out a song called Richmond, North of Richmond. Literally just maybe a week ago, I don't know the exact days of timeline, but about a week ago, he was a nobody. Just had maybe a few subscribers on his YouTube, a few subscribers on his Twitter. Didn't seem like much of anything. And then he went, like, the YouTube video for this song blew up and hit like 15 million. I think it's over that now, video or views on YouTube. And then it also blew up on Twitter. It kind of went crazy. And now he's kind of like, you know, in the span of just a few days, all of a sudden he's got I think he's pushing 500,000 followers on Twitter. He's pushing, I think he's almost at 300,000 on YouTube. I haven't checked it recently, but what I find interesting, I don't normally bring music to you guys, but the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I think there's a very fascinating thing in this song that we can learn and apply to our writing. So here's a little bit of the song. Let's take a look.
I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me, people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is living in the new world with an whole soul.
That's just a little bit of the song. I'm going to read some of the lyrics here, and then we're going to talk about what I think we can take from this phenomenon of this song and what this guy wrote and what we can use to apply to our writing. I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay, so I can sit out here and waste my life away, drag back home and drown my troubles away. It's a damn shame what the world's gotten to for people like me and people like you. Wish I could just wake up and it not be true, but it is. Oh, it is. Here's the chorus. Living in the new world with an old soul, these rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just want to have total control. Want to know what you think, want to know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do. Because your dollar ain't shit and it's taxed to no end, because of rich men north of Richmond. Okay, so that's all I'm going to read. So, and I do think this applies because it is writing. He wrote lyrics, and so I do think it applies. But there's something in here that's really important that we're going to touch on. That is, he has tapped into the power of the universal story. So very rarely, it happens a lot more now these days, of course, but I mean, to go from having almost no following, nobody, to writing something and then having it just completely blow up in these days. I mean, he tapped into something very important, and it's the universal story. So one of the problems that I see with current media, I think this is why a lot of Hollywood movies really aren't landing with people. People aren't going to the box office. TV show viewership is declining. All of these kind of things. It's not necessarily that all of these things are bad. It's not that there are some that, some of the recent Marvel things have not been great. We've talked about that a lot. Some of the Star Wars stuff I've had a lot of issue with. But the main reason is because I think isn't because of this story choice or that story choice or the acting or the what. Like, there's some of that. Those are definitely parts and pieces of it. But the main thing is they're not touching on these universal themes, these big ideas that encapsulate all of humanity, that cross all sort of lines. So the reason I think that this song in particular blew up is because it crosses all the lines. It crosses cultural lines. It crosses even, I've heard of people in other countries, not even in America, are loving this song and it resonated with them. Why? He's talking about something that every human can understand and experience, and that we've all experienced. So it crosses cultural lines, it's crossing political lines. It doesn't matter if you're left, right, center. It is universal to everyone who hears it, whatever you believe for your religion, whatever, anything. It crosses all of those barriers, and it gets down to something that is at the core of what we are all experiencing right now as humans on this planet. How do we tap into that with our stories? That's the real question. I think, a lot of one that's a really great example of this, that's from not super recent but recent years, is the movie Black Panther. Obviously, it is about a very specific culture. It's about a very specific group of people, but it touches on those things. It touches on all the things that culture experiences. However, also appeals to a bigger audience because it's talking about lineage, the sins of the father to the son, taking up a mantle that you can, go and serve your people. Like, there's so many of these big ideas that are for anyone that it became this cultural phenomenon. And what I think is interesting, if you've checked out the video and if you watch the music video, the ability to tap into this universal story and these big ideas transcends delivery even. So he's a good musician. He's a good guitar player. He's a good singer. Like, he's got a great, he is good, but the song is not polished. It doesn't have all this auto-tune. It doesn't have, his voice is very raw. It's very emotional. It's not like he didn't package it up in this perfect little radio hit thing that we can all just be like, oh, wow, that's really cool. The delivery is very raw. It's very just turn on the mic, turn on the guitar, sing. And what he did was he wrote these very powerful words, and then he just went for it. He just sang it. He told the story. And so as writers, I think if you really want your writing to land, if you really want your writing to explode and have meaning and impact, we have to tap into the power of the universal story. I think it's an art that has been kind of lost. I think that's one of the reasons something like Lord of the Rings has remained being so popular. Is it's about the call to adventure. It's about fighting evil. It's about these bigger ideas that are universal to the human experience. And so I really think that there's a lot we can learn from this example. It's Oliver Anthony, Richmond, north of Richmond, and check it out. Check out the song, but really think about how we can start applying this to our writing. And it's not about a lot of times, back to the delivery thing, and I struggle with this too. I talk, I'm always saying about like, what's the scene look like in my head, but what about the action? What about the description? What about the da-da-da-da-da? And all of that is secondary to making sure you're communicating a good idea, a universal idea. And the writers in the room, they're going to be talking about theme. That's what they're going to bring up. They're going to say, well, you're just talking about theme. Yes, you are. I am just talking about theme, but I'm talking about making sure your theme is a big, it has to be a universal theme. I'm going to keep saying that word, universal, because you can still write a book about, if you write a book about a trucker, a guy who's a trucker, that's his job, that doesn't necessarily appeal to everyone. I'm not a trucker. Not everyone is a trucker. So how do you make a story about a trucker appeal to the masses? Well, you add these universal themes, right? Avengers Endgame is a great example. That last scene where they're in the final battle and everyone else is defeated and Captain America stands up, and there's that one shot where it's him on one side and it's all of Thanos' army on the other side. That conveys a universal theme. Standing up to evil and fighting the fight regardless. And that's part of why those universal themes throughout that movie, this one right here, are what make that movie so powerful. So again, I'm going to just hammer this home. Just tap into those universal themes. What is your story really about? What is the truth you're trying to say to people to have them understand? And then does that truth, that nugget, apply to everyone? How many people does it apply to? If it only applies to 30 people, then the only people that are going to resonate with your story is 30 people. And if that's what you want, then go for it. But if you really want to write a story that has incredible impact, that has incredible, width as far as how far it can go out and how deeply it can impact people's lives, you have to tap into the power of the universal story. That's what I think happened here with Oliver Anthony and his song. He tapped into something that is universal to everyone on our planet right now, whether you are left, right, culture doesn't matter, religion doesn't matter. He tapped into something that everyone is experiencing. And if you do that with your story, you can have that kind of impact too. Thanks for watching this video of Writing Quest. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let's talk about it in the comments. This is a kind of a big video. This is kind of a big topic. So let me know what you think, and I will see you next time on Writing Quest. Huzzah!